Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome back to Easy Mathematics. Today, we want to look at the number 3 and number 4 of 2022 Mathematics BECE. So let's read the first question. Given the relation L is equal to 2 brackets of m squared minus n squared all over 4 brackets of m plus n. So you have I, 3ai. We have been asked to simplify L. And what is L? L has been given as 2 brackets of m squared minus n squared all over 4 brackets of m plus n. And you have to simplify L. Now looking at the given relation, you can see that the numerator is difference of 2 squares. So since you have difference of 2 squares for this one, we are going to expand. But we can see also that the 2, which is the numerator, can divide the 4. So we are going to say 2 will go into itself 1 and 2 will go into this one 2 times, giving us 1 over 2. We are going to get 1 for the numerator. Then we expand the difference of 2 squares. This expanding is going to give you m plus n bracket of m minus n all over 2 brackets of m plus n. So we've expanded the difference of 2 squared, and that has given us this. So we are going to say this will cancel out this, leaving behind m minus n all over 2. So therefore, L is equal to m minus 2 all over 2, or half bracket of m minus 2. So to simplify L, we have this as L for the number 3ai. Then II, we have to find the value of L when m is 2 and n is 3. Now this is going to be change of subject. We have to find for L, for II. We have to find for L. And when we simplify, what did we get? We had L is m minus 2 all over, m minus n all over 2. And here, they are saying m is 2, n is 3. So we substitute the figures with their value. So this is going to give you m is 2. So we have 2 minus n, and n is 3. If you simplify, you have negative 1 out of 2, which is negative 1 out of 2. So to find the value of L, we are going to say L is equal to negative 1 over 2. Then you have the B. The B, you have been given an equation to solve. And what is the given equation? B, we have been given 4 over 3x is equal to 7 minus 3 over x. What do we want? We have to solve. So to solve for this, you can see that this is in a fractional form. So since it is in a fraction, or it is an equation involving fraction, we have to clear the fraction by finding the LCM. Now you can see that the LCM, we are having denominators as algebraic, or the denominators are algebraic expression. So we are going to divide the whole number by 1 and multiply the denominators to get the LCM. So LCM, what can we say? Multiply this times this times this, which is going to give you 3x squared. So you have your LCM as 3x squared. Now having your LCM, multiply each of the terms by the LCM. We have 1, 2, 3 terms. So we are going to multiply each of the terms by the LCM. So we have the first one, which is 4 over 3x multiplied by the LCM, 3x squared. 7 times the LCM minus 3x times the LCM, 3x squared. Then we try to get rid of the fraction. You have 3x here, so the 3x will cancel out 3x, leaving behind x. Now here, x will cancel one of the x, leaving behind 3x. Then you multiply to get your number. So if you multiply 4 times x, you are going to get 4x. If you multiply 7 by 3x squared, you are going to get 21x squared. Minus, you have 3 here and you have 3x here. So 3 times 3x, you have 9x. Then this becomes the equation. 4x is equal to 21x squared minus 9x. Now what do you do from here? Now from here, we are going to group like terms. Now grouping like terms, we can choose to take the 4 to this side or take the negative 9x to this side. So let's say I want to bring the negative 9x to this side. This is going to give me 4x, bringing the 9 will give me plus 9x, which is 21x squared. Now what do you have here? We are going to put this together, then you equate it to this, which is going to give you, let's do it here, this plus this is going to give you 13x, which is equal to 21x squared. Again, now you can see that x are at both sides, but one of the x here is squared. So let's take the 13x to the other side and equate everything to 0 so that we can solve for x. So I'm going to get 21x squared. When 13x moves to this side, I'm going to get minus 13x. Then you equate the equation to 0. When you take this one here, you are going to get 21x squared minus 13x. Then you equate it to 0, since there is nothing to equate it to. Then you factor x out from this expression. So you have 21x squared minus 13x. When you factor x out, what do we have here? Now one of the x is out. You are left with 21 and 1x. So we are going to write 21x minus, we've also factored the x out. What are we left with? 13, which is equal to 0. So we will equate this x to 0 and equate the one in the fraction, the one in the bracket also to 0. So we have x is equal to 0, and also we have 21x minus 13 is equal to 0. Then this becomes a linear equation to solve for x. Group like terms, you have 21x is equal to 13. Divide both sides by 21. You are going to get, divide both sides by 21. You are going to get x is equal to 13 over 21. So we have x is equal to 13 over 21 as our answer for x, or for 0. But since if when we use x, 0 for x, we are going to get undefined, then x is equal to 13 over 21. So this is the answer for the B. Then when you come to the C says a salesman gets a commission of 5.5% of the value of items he sells. The salesman sells 12 textbooks at 25 cedis per book, 13 scientific calculators at 50 cedis each, and 8 packets of big pens at 50 cedis per packet. Calculate his commission, or calculate the salesman commission. Now, if I'm to calculate for commission, what do I have to know? Now, we have to know that calculating for commission is the given percentage times the selling price. So what is the given percentage? 5.5% of the selling price. Now, what is the selling price? We have not been given the selling price. We should take note. We have not been given the selling price. So we are going to solve for the selling price. But how can we solve for it? We were told that he sold 12 calculators at 25 cedis per book. So calculate 12 times 25 because per book is 25. So if all the books are 12, then 25 times 12 will give you the amount he had for selling the 12 books. So let's calculate for total selling price. Total selling price. So we have 12 calculators. For the 12 calculators, he sold one for 25 cedis. So we are going to calculate 25 cedis times 12. One is 25. So for the 12, we are going to multiply it by 12 to get the total. And when you multiply 25 by 12, 25 cedis by 12, we are going to get 300 cedis. So for selling 12 textbooks, for selling 12 textbooks, then the cost for selling the 12 textbook is 300 Ghana cedis because he sold 12 and one of the book is 25 cedis. And when you continue, he says that he also sold 3 scientific calculators at 50 cedis each. So if he sold 3 calculators and one is 50 cedis each, all the 3 is going to be 50 times 3. So we also calculate for 3 calculators. 3 calculators. So the amount he sold, which is 50 cedis times 3, multiplying the 2 is going to give you 150 cedis. So he sold the 3 calculators at 150 cedis. Then the last one, he also sold 8 packets of big pens, 50 cedis. So one packet is 50 cedis. And he was able to sell 8 of those, or 8 of them. So we are going to also calculate or solve for 8 packets of big pens. So 8, sorry for the marker, it's fading out. 8 packets of pens. So he was able to sell 8, and per price is 50 cedis. So times the 8. And if you multiply 8 times 50, that is going to give you 400 Ghana cedis. 400 Ghana cedis. Now, if you combine or add everything together, that is going to give you the selling price of the items or the value of the items he sold. So let's put everything together. We are going to get, this is going to give you 0, you have 5, then 8. So when he sold everything, he had 850. So the selling price of the item, this is the amount he sold out. So he was given 5.5% of the selling price. And to get the selling price, multiply the 12 by the cost of each, multiply the 3 by the cost of each calculator, multiply the 8 by the cost of each packet. Whatever you get, you put them together, giving you the total selling price. So we have the total selling price as 850. Then what do? We calculate for commission. Now we calculate for commission. Commission is the percentage given, which is 5.5% of the selling price. What is the selling price? 850 cedis. So we are going to solve for this. Whatever we get becomes the salesman commission. Now you have a mixed fraction with a percentage. So change the mixed fraction into improper fraction, which is going to give you this times this as 10 plus this, giving you 11/2%. Giving us 11/2% times 850. Now this percent is over 100. So let's write this 11/2 over 100 because percentage is out of 100. So let's write 11/2%, which is the same as over 100, times 850. Now if you take this on its own, this can be written as 11/2 divided by 100 times 850. This one is for this 11/2 all over 100. Well, from the 100 is percent, and percentage is out of 100. So you have 11/2 all over 100, and this can be written as 11/2 divided by 100 times the 850, which we have here. Now this division, we were told that if you are solving with it, the division is going to change towards multiplication. Since this is a whole number, we are going to write the reciprocal of the 100/1, which is 1/100. Then you multiply by 850. So let's do the multiplication here. Let's take our time and multiply. Now we will notice that this 0 will cancel out this 0. If you multiply this by this, we are going to get 11. If you multiply this by this, you are going to get 20. Then times 85. Now we take our time to work this thing out. Now what are we going to do? Multiply the 11 by 85 to get your answer. So let's see the multiplication here. Multiplying 85 by 10 will give you 850. Multiplying 8 by 10 will give you 850. And multiplying 85 by 1 will give you 85. This will give you 5. This and this is going to give you 13. Remember 1, giving you 90, giving you 935 all over 20. So let's see. 85 by 11, 5 times this is 5, this and this is 8, this times this is 5, this and this is 8. So putting them together, you have 5, this and this is 13, you have 9, giving you 938. So if you were doubting, then we are correct. Then how can we get this? We solve using the long division approach. So let's see, 20 will be out, then this will move inside. Now how can we divide? You have this. The number in the square root sign is bigger for us to work with. So let's cover the very last one. Now what do we have? 93. Now 20 will go into 93 how many times? If we recite our times table, we will notice that 20 times 4 is 8. So 2 times 4 is 8. So we can say 20 times 4 is 80. So we are going to say, to go here 4 times, this times this is 80. You subtract. When you subtract, you are left with 3, 1, 5. If you recite your 2 times table, you will notice that 2 times 7 is 14, which is greater than this. So let's drop it down using 6. 2 times 6 is 12. So if 6 is 12, then 20 times 6 will give us 120. So 6 this times this is 120. Subtract from it, what do you have? You have 5, you have 1. Again, you ask, can 20 go into 15? No. Bring a decimal point, you have a 0 here. So 2 times what will give you 250? 2 times 7 is 14. So 2, 7, 14. Subtract, you have 10. You bring a 0, you have 5. So we are going to get 46.75 as our answer using the long division to get the answer. So now this is the salesman's commission. So we are going to say, therefore, 46, it is 75 pesos, is his commission. And this was what we were asked to do for the question 3C. Let's look at the question 4. Question 4. It says that Fred is X years old now. Fred is X years old now. How old was he 4 years ago? So question 4A. Question 4A. How old is Fred 4 years ago? Now the age he was given now is X minus what? 1. So to calculate his 4 years ago age, we are going to subtract 4 from his current age. So subtracting 4 from his current age, we are going to get X minus 1 minus 4, which is equal to X minus 5. So we are going to say, therefore, Fred was X minus 5 4 years ago. So we have this as the number 4II. When you continue, it says, how old would he be 8 years from now? How old will he be 8 years from now? So to calculate his 8 years from now, we are going to add 8 to his current age. So II, 8 years from now. His current age was given as X minus 1 plus 8 years from now. Solving this is going to give you X minus 1 plus 8, which is equal to X minus 7. So we are going to say, therefore, Fred will be X minus 7 years from Fred will be X minus 7 8 years from now. So from now, Fred is going to be X minus 7. Then the last one, how old is he now? If his age in 8 years ago, in 8 years time, will be 3 times his age 4 years ago. How old is he now? If his age in 8 years time will be 3 years times the age 4 years ago. So the 8 years from now is 3 times. So to get the number III, we are going to multiply his 8 years ago age by 3 and equate it to the 4 years ago. So this is the 8 years ago age. So we are going to say 3 times the 8 years ago and equate it to the what? To the 4 years ago, which is X minus 5. We apologize for how we've compressed it because of space. We have to do it like this. Then you expand to solve for x to know Fred's age now as we are speaking. So what do? Expand the bracket. So this will multiply this. We have 3x minus 21 is equal to x minus 5. Group like terms. We are going to get 3x minus x is equal to negative 5 plus 21. Subtracting will give you 2x is equal to negative 5 plus 21. You have is going to give you 16. So what do? You divide both sides by 2. So we are going to say 2x is equal to 16 divided by 2 divided by 2. So x is equal to 8. So how old if his age in 8 years time will be 3 times his age 4 years ago? Fred is going to be what? 8 years. So our answer is going to be 8 years, just as it has been given to us to solve. So 8 years from now, if you are to multiply the 8 years from now by 3 and that of is 4 years ago, then that should tell us that Fred is going to be 8 years. Let's look at the last one for the question 4. The perimeter of a rectangular cocoa farm is 497 kilometers. The length of the farm is 2.5 times the width. Find the width and find the length. So, with this question, we have to find the length and the width. So, we don't know the length. We don't also know the width. But it has been hidden, or we have been told in the question. Now the question says that the length of the rectangular portion is 2.5 times the width. So if the width is 4, then the length is 2.5 times it. So let's say, since we don't know the width, represent it with a variable. Let's say y. Represent it with a variable. Let's say y. Now the length is 2.5 times the width. So the length is 2.5 times the width, which is 2.5 y. The y we are saying it should be the width. Now you have your shape, your rectangular shape. Let's bring it here this way. So your length is 2.5 times the width, and you have the width as y. And you were told that perimeter is 497. How do you calculate for perimeter? Perimeter is given as 2 brackets of the length plus the width. So we have the width as 2.5 y, the length as 2.5 y, and the width as y. So we are going to what? Substitute. P is 497. You have 2, length is 2.5 y plus width y. This is a mixed fraction. So what do? Change it into improper. We are going to get 497 is equal to, this will multiply this. Before that, let's change this into mixed fraction. It's going to give you 5 over y plus y. Now expand the bracket. You have 497 is equal to, this will multiply this. Then the 2 will cancel out, leaving behind 5y. Then this 2 will also multiply the y, giving you plus 2y. You have 497 is equal to this plus this is 7y. What do we want? We want y. So divide both sides by 7, giving you 497 is equal to 7y. Divide by 7, divide by 7. 7 will cancel out 7. Then 7 will go into 497 how many times? You can see that 7 into itself 1. 7 into 49, 7 times. 7 into 7, 1 time. So y is equal to 71. What is y? Y is the length. The length of, y is the width, y is the width of the rectangular farm. So we are going to say I you were asked to find the width. Width is 71 kilometers. Then you have to find the length. The length, we were told that the length is 2.5 the width. So let's solve 2.5 of y. So we are going to get 2.5 times 71. Change this, you are going to get 5/2 times 71. Now when you look at this carefully, you can see or say that 2 will go into this value with a decimal. So multiply this by this, we are going to get 535. 5 times 5